Good morning, ladies and cunts. We're gonna get back into this shit. If you've seen my last video, you know it ended in tragedy. I may have what you would say as blown a gasket, got a little angry, may have called Martha Ford some names. Martha, I'm sorry, but you are a piece of shit cunt. So, am I really? You fucking suck, and please sell the team. Thank you. Anyways, for those who don't understand what happened on my last video, which was NFL Picks of the Week, I fucked up. Or should I say, me and my producer Evan fucked up because we filmed a whole 20-minute long thing on my picks, expanding on all of them, saying what happened, and 20 minutes went down the drain because we listened to it afterwards. There was no sound, just other than static. So lost it in the next video after. I was tired. I was pissed off. So that was a quick 20 minutes. Went down to 5 minutes. I just got my picks across in a quick, orderly fashion. Today, I will try to do my best. Hopefully, we don't lose this one also. We're going to be talking about the college football playoffs. As when the college football bowl games begin, I'm going to do each games as they are per week. So I'm going to go weekly with those picks, but I'm just going to kind of expand on the college football playoffs this time around. We're going to start off here today. Actually, there is one game this week. One game. And that is America's game. Known as Army versus Navy. Basically, where do you want your troops, on the ground or in the water? I don't really give a fuck, because, they're fighting. How you doing? Anyways, Navy, Army. When it comes to football, on the other hand, this season alone, Army, even though almost beat Michigan, it's really not that crazy. Michigan fucking sucked at the beginning of the year. Army, you fucking suck a bag of dicks, okay? It's all about Navy this year. They were 10-2. Despite that game of getting slaughtered by Notre Dame that one week, a very good team, very good school, beat SMU in a close battle, and that's how I knew they were for real. This game is at 10.5. If you want to bet on America's game this week, definitely pick Navy at just 10.5 by that point if you want to feel safe about it. Now, for the real reason you're all here, college football playoffs. We have our matchups. We have our game. It is number 1 LSU versus number 4 Oklahoma, and then we have number 2 Ohio State versus number 3 Clemson. When it comes to the betting side of things, the first game is pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy. LSU, Oklahoma. I think LSU is just firing on all cylinders right now. Back in week 2 or 3, I made my championship prediction. All the way back then, I knew who I felt were going to be the teams that are going to make it, and 2 of them are still in it. They're both still in it. They can still do it, and they're actually the top 2 teams right now, LSU, Ohio State. I said that way back in week 2. They were the most impressive teams, and I thought they just had it this year. Their guys were going to lead them, and so far they haven't let me down. So I'm going to stick with that. I think LSU is going to cover their point total against Oklahoma at minus 13 right now, I believe it is. Yes, minus 13. For God's sakes, LSU defeated Georgia by 27. So yeah, I think this is pretty much a lock. And as much as Jalen Hurts is trying to get back here and prove his doubt is wrong, he made it to the playoffs. Good enough for him, if you ask me. I think LSU will show that they are truly the best team right now. And will, come in and probably slaughter them too. Win by about 3 touchdowns or so. All right, so definitely at minus 13, pick LSU over Oklahoma. This is also an over-under game. I'm going to go, there's 2 games here, so I'll go over-under with you guys. This is an over-under of 76 fucking points. Now, yes, they're both offensive schools, and they thrive on that, and LSU's amazing, and Oklahoma's amazing, but both their defenses have come up lately, and they've gotten much better. So this is an easy decision for me. Easily pick the under in this game at 76 points. It's an insane amount. I could definitely see this game being like a 31, not even that, maybe like LSU wins at like 38-24, 38-21, something like that. Maybe even like 38-17, some shit like that. LSU's defense has looked really good lately. But yeah, I think LSU is going to walk away with this one in the end. It'll be close at first for maybe like first 2 quarters, 2.5 quarters, but then they'll start the runaway with it. So definitely pick LSU here at minus 13. Now, for the second game, this is the tough one that I've really gone back and forth on a lot because Clemson is really up in the air, and you just don't know who they are. Like, they've been amazing. Absolutely. They have the number 1 scoring offense, and I think, like, number 1 or 2 scoring defense. Like, they've been incredible. But at the same time, you have to think, who the fuck have they played? Nobody. They played Virginia in their ACC championship game and beat them by 45. That's an insane amount, and that's the team they're supposed to be playing in the championship game. The ACC is just weak compared to everyone else, so it's hard to get a good read on them. Yes, they're the defending champs, and it makes you want to pick them just because of that fact, like because you know they can do it, you know they're that good. Trevor Lawrence, I'll talk about him in a future video. This man could be one of the biggest stars to ever grace the sport of football. But the thing is just with all the guys that left, you don't know if the guys that came in are just as good as them or they're definitely a step down. It's just different. And so it was very, very hard for me. It was actually so difficult, I can tell, for the bettors because they picked them too at -2 for Clemson, even though they're the 3 seed. My thing is, though, is Ohio State has proved to me that they can beat the good teams. They are doing very, very well. And despite Clemson slaughtering teams, anybody can do that. Anybody can slaughter ACC teams. For fuck's sakes, Kentucky, my boys, who are not a good football team by any stretch of the imagination, beat Louisville 45-13 with the third-string quarterback, which is a receiver. A receiver's their third-string quarterback, and was able to beat them down by that much. Clemson, yes, beat them, Louisville down by like 40 or so points, but Kentucky still beat them by 32. So it kind of shows the difference between the SEC and the ACC. And Ohio State, I think, is on that level with the SEC. So, end of the day, I'm going to stick with my original prediction back in week 2 or 3 of LSU, Ohio State for the championship game. So I'm going to definitely pick Ohio State here. The game is at -2, like I said, on Clemson. I'm saying go Ohio State fully straight up. So pick that +2 on them. Get them straight up. If you want to feel real safe, probably 1.5. Get it to 3.5. But yeah, I'm definitely going with them there. Ohio State for sure over Clemson here to bring me to that championship game that I think we've all been waiting for of Ohio State and LSU. Meanwhile, for the game, it is over under 63.5. This one I think is an over for sure. They're both 2 high-scoring hot commodities, like number 1-2 or 1-3 or something like that. They're just high-scoring machines, and they will be ready to go. I think the defense, I could see this game being like a 38-34, 38-31 kind of ball game. And I think Ohio State's just willingness on defense to really come up and play will do it. And I think just their ability of them being able to play the teams that they've played this year will show. And Clemson will not be ready to play the magnitude that they have played. And Ohio State will eventually get this win. Now, we don't have a spread for the championship game. Obviously, we don't know who's going to play. But I'm just making my final prediction here so you all know where it's warranted. You can call me just kind of chalk here because that is kind of what I'm going with. But I made this prediction way back in like week 2 or 3 of the season. And I'm sticking to it all the way from the very beginning that I said LSU has looked like the better team all year. People can argue with me all they want, but Ohio State and LSU being the 2 squads. And they can argue because I know a lot of people are angry about OSU being jumped by LSU for that number 1 pick again. I was one of the believers that LSU should be number 1. They just what they did to Georgia and the way they've played and who they've played in the SEC lately, I'm sorry, they just deserve the number 1 spot. They just did. And anybody can argue with me all they want about that. LSU deserves the better spot because they've shown that they are the better team in my mind. Now, if Ohio State was up 34-0 on Wisconsin this last week and had given up 21 points, kind of came back a little bit, didn't really do anything, I believe Ohio State would have been number 1. But it didn't work out that way. They went down 21-7, and that's the reason it came out that way, because it showed that teams can put up the points and beat Ohio State. I don't remember the last time LSU was losing this year. So if that is to show you anything, that is a sign. So in the end, at the end of the day, I am picking LSU to win the college football playoffs, and Joe Burrow will lead them there, and they will become the next champions of the college football world. See you next video.